Good evening to all my brothers and sisters. Jai Shri Mataji. I'm Sachin, and I've been practicing Sahaja Yoga for over 20 years. My journey in Sahaj started in India when I was ready to start my undergrad college. And I was introduced to Sahaja Yoga by a very, very close friend of mine, who also happened to be my best friend, and his very loving family. And my introduction to Sahaja Yoga was very pleasant because, and it was a very long, long introduction before I actually got my self-realization. And I came across a lot of young Sahaja Yogis who were I had become friends, and they were amazingly courteous people, very, very dedicated to the cause that they believed in. And they always seemed to be very enjoying of anything that they did about Sahaj. I grew up in a very pious Catholic family, so there were a lot of restrictions around what I could do outside of going to church and other things. But at the same time, I grew up in a very multicultural and a multi-faith environment, as everybody knows how India is. And there was always this question as to how come there's so many religions and they all talk about love, they all talk about peace, but still they're very federated, and how they are not joined at one place. And as and when I learned more and more about Sahaja Yoga, and as I started learning more and more about what Mataji was about and what she was talking, it all started to make sense. It was just music to my ears. The questions that I've been looking for all my, I would say, adult life as I was growing up, were being answered, where she started talking about how all these faiths are interconnected and how all they come together. Right? And most importantly, right, I was a student of science, so I was kind of brought up in a way where everything had to be experimented and analyzed, and you look for facts behind any happening. And Shrimataji insisted on the same thing. She said, do not have any blind faiths. Otherwise, this will turn out to be something else, right? And anytime somebody tells you something new, even Shrimataji, when she said something, she said, just go and verify it. And that verification came through different experimentation. When she talked about a certain topic, how you check your vibrations, how you clear your energy centers, you actually would go and experiment with that idea and see how that works for you. And that is something which I found very, very appealing. And something else that really, really stuck with me right from the beginning and even today was where the whole practice of Sahaj is not about any do's and don'ts. The knowledge of right and wrong doesn't come from outside. It is something that is kind of born within, or something that is guided by a force which is living within you. And nothing is more telling or powerful or trusting than something that comes from within. And that is what Shrimataji has always insisted. And the whole practice of Sahaja Yoga is about that: rely on your gut, rely on your vibrations, rely on the guidance that Kundalini has been offering all along, right? And every day I'm reminded by Shrimataji in her talks and in her vibrational guidance that in order to be a good Sahaja Yogi, in order to really enjoy the benefits of Sahaja Yoga, one has to just stick to the basics, right? Keep your connection with the divine by meditating every day, and do not worry about the rest. Things will happen. And that is something that I have always been inspired by, and something that I've always followed. I also had a fun story to share about, right? In my initial days, when I started practicing Sahaj, right? As a young college student, right? I was in my undergrad school, and there was a friend who used to live close by. This place is in Maharashtra, Nasik. And one fine day, I got an invitation from that friend and said, hey, why don't you come over? And it was pretty late in the evening, around, I would say 7:30. And his place was another 5 hours of a bus ride. So I had all the time, and I decided, yeah, let's do that. So I went to the local bus stand, took the bus, and by the time the bus reached Nasik, and thereafter I had to take another local transportation to get to his place. And they used to live in a large colony. So I get to the entrance of that colony, and it was already like 2:30 in the night. So I asked the gatekeeper, the guard there, okay, where do these people live? And gave me a sense of direction, saying that, hey, go straight, make a left here, then a right, and so on. It was a good 10-minute walk from there. So it was pretty late in the night, and it was also very dark. I thought, that what can go wrong? So I started walking, and soon after, when I was in a pretty dark area where I could not see that guard station, and neither the front of my house, I was in an area which was filled with, I would say, stray street dogs, right? And I was not a big fan of stray dogs back then, even now. And I don't know what they sensed, but the entire group of like good 15, 20 dogs, they started ganging up and started barking, and slowly they started moving towards me. And it just seemed like, okay, this is not looking good. And any point of recourse, like running away or doing anything at that time, would have not ended very well. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What my options are? I'm looking at all the places, or anything that could get me out of that situation. And lo and behold, right, by 2:30 in the night, I see two scooters coming in that direction. And I was just wondering, right, what that was about. And those scooters show up, and there were two uncles sitting on a scooter, right? And they immediately stopped. The moment the scooters came, the dogs ran away because they were pretty loud. So these uncles, they just asked me, "Hey, what are you doing this late in the night?" And I said, "I'm supposed to go to my friend's place. He's not very far from here. I'm coming from a different place outside the city." So they were nice enough. And they said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we just drop you there?" Right? So hop on the scooter, let's go. And as soon as I sat on the scooter, then we started having conversations about, okay, yeah, you asked me what I'm doing this late, like, how come you are here? And he said, no, I'm part of a meditation group, and we follow Shrimataji Nirmala Devi. And that's when I just asked them, hey, are you Sahaja Yogis? And the moment he heard that, he just pumped his brakes, stopped his scooters, and said, how do you know that? I said, oh, I also practice Sahaja Yoga. And right after that, right, both the scooters stopped, and they were just elated to hear that, just to find me in the middle of nowhere at a place like this. And they were so elated to hear that they said, okay, now you're no longer going to your friend's place. You're coming with us, right? And I had to convince them that, yeah, I would love to do that, but I cannot because I've already promised someone to be at a place. So, so they were very nice and very lovingly. They dropped me at my friend's place, and they waited at the gate until I was inside the house. And my friend's parents showed up at the door and said, "Hey, how come you know these people, right? Uh, and I had to tell them why. It was hard for them to believe it, but they're very, very loving. And this is something like which I found very, very amazing in my life. And at a certain point in my uh, first few days in Sahaja Yoga, where generally the divine presence is very, very strong, I would say, taking care of you. I felt very cared, and this sweet incident has always, always stayed with me. So that being said, we will start our Footsoak and meditation today. So let's relax and sit down and find the most comfortable position that we can be in without any stress in our body. And in order to relax, we will take 3 deep breaths. We'll put our attention in our heart. We can place our right hand on our heart and take 3 deep breaths. We'll bring our right hand back on our laps, and let's collectively raise our Kundalini and take a bandhan. We will now use our right hand to just raise our attention from the bottom of our spine. That's a spot of our first energy center all the way to the top of our head using our right hand. And let's do this a couple of times. Next, we will try to clear our left channel. We can place our left hand on our left leg and point the right hand towards Mother Earth. And with our gentle attention on our left palm, make a very humble request to our loving mothering energy and ask her, Mother, please clear my left channel. Mother, please clear my left channel. We keep our attention on our palm. And wait until either we feel something cool on the top of our palms or a general sense of attention on our left palm start to settle down. Mother, please clear my left channel. We can bring our right hand back to our lap. We will next clear our right channel with the right palm facing up on our right leg. We'll take the left palm facing the back of our bodies, facing up. We will again put our gentle attention on the right palm and make a humble request to our mothering energy and say, Mother, please clear my right channel. Mother, please clear my right channel. We can bring our left hand back to our lap. We will next move on to the foot soaking part of this meditation. If you have your foot soaking bowl, please bring them in front of you. And then let's give the foot soaking bowl vibrations. And the way that we do it is we take our right hand and make 7 circles around the foot soaking bowl. Once done, we can place our feet in the foot soaking bowl. Once your feet are settled in the foot soaking bowl and you're in a comfortable position, we will again use our right hand to raise Kundalini. And you can just do that by taking your hand all the way from the first energy center, Muladhara, to the 7th energy center, the Sahasrara. You can do this 2 or 3 times. We will now start working on each of the energy centers one at a time. And we will be using our right hand to give vibrations to each of our energy centers and helping the energy centers go in a clockwise direction. So the way to do that is we take our right hand and move it in a clockwise direction, facing forward towards your body. We'll start with the first energy center and move your hand in a clockwise direction in circles from the first energy center. While doing so, we can also make requests to our mothering energy. Say, Mother, please clear my first energy center. Or, Mother, please clear my Muladhara chakra. Now take our attention to the second energy center, just a couple of inches below our navel area. And we'll do the same thing, clockwise vibrations to the second energy center. We'll make a request to our mothering energy. Mother, please clear my second energy center. Also, Mother, please clear my Swadhisthana chakra. We'll now take our attention to the space between second and the third energy center that is called the void. And in order to give vibrations to this area, we will go in a clockwise manner around our navel area in larger circles. Say, Mother, please clear my void. Mother, please clear my bhavasa. Now take our attention to the third energy center, which is right around our navel. And that's called the Nadi chakra. And we can ask our mothering energy, Mother, please clear my third energy center. Mother, please clear my Nadi chakra. Let's take our attention to the fourth energy center, which is right around our heart. And give it vibrations. Here we'll request our mothering energy. Mother, please clear my fourth energy center. Mother, please clear my heart chakra. We'll next take our attention to the fifth energy center. That's our throat area. Give it vibrations. And ask our mothering energy. Mother, please clear my fifth energy center. Mother, please clear my Vishuddhi chakra. Now, we'll try to raise our Kundalini again with the right hands. Take our right hands at the base of our spine from the first energy center all the way to the top of our heads. And while we do that, we can put our attention on each and every energy center as we go up. Let's do this 2 to 3 times. Let's take our attention to the sixth energy center, which is right at the optic chiasma. Up here, we will give it vibrations and request our mothering energy. Mother, please clear my sixth energy center. Mother, please clear my Agya chakra. As you may already know, this energy center is the inflection point where the two channels cross. It's very important for this energy center to open up, for our Kundalini to pass through our seventh energy center. In order to clear this energy center, we have to forgive ourselves. Here, we can also make an affirmation. Mother, I forgive myself. Mother, I forgive everyone. Mother, forgive myself. Mother, forgive it. We can next place our right hand at the top of our head, in the fontanelle bone area, and very gently massage that region in a clockwise manner, 3 to 4 times. And let's use our right hands to raise our Kundalini again, all the way to the top of our heads. We can bring our hands back to our laps. We can now take our feet out of the foot soaking bowl, rinse it with water and wipe your feet. You move your foot soaking bowl aside. And let's put our attention on our Sahasrara, seventh energy center at the top of our head. Let's try to keep our attention a couple of inches above our head, right around this region. And right there, let's establish our meditation and try to get in the state of thoughtlessness. A state where we try not to engage with any thoughts. One way of establishing that state is to not follow a thought as it comes. And if a thought comes, we can say, I forgive this thought. Say, I forgive this thought. And try to increase the space between the fall of a thought and the rise of another thought. Keep saying, forget this thought if a thought comes along. We can gently come out of meditation, collectively raise our Kundalini, and take a bandhan. Yes, Mataji. This concludes the formal part of the guided meditation. You're welcome to stay. Anyone would like to stay longer in meditation, I'd request the host to play music.
Mm-hmm.